so here's the plate. We're going to put it back in. The plate has 2 tabs in the front, going towards the front of the stove. All this stuff sticking up, and this bevel in the back, this is all going to be face up when it goes in the floor of the stove. These tabs go into slots in the front of the stove, back in these corners. Alright, so it's probably going to take us a little bit to get that to fit and set down flat. I've pulled some of the ash out, but I'm trying to leave some in so that we can get as much life out of this floor casting as possible. Again, you're going to load it in from the side just like you took it out. Make sure you have it the right way so you don't have to load it in twice. The tabs are going to go in. We got almost down. We got to move that shaker. Okay, that end is in. This end is in. This is sitting flat. We'll just test our shakers to make sure they shake okay. They do. And they stop from going backwards by hitting those little tabs right there. So we're looking pretty good for the floor plate. Nice and straight. Our new grate that we put in is right in the middle. It's not going to come out now. And we're going to put in the back plates now. We're going to do the side one first, and we're going to switch sides so that we can see that view better. Okay, that's it. Okay, so we're going to take this plate. It's going to go back in. This is the one I'll be replacing again in the spring. All right, this goes in on the end of the stove. There's two places to attach it. There's a hole there, there's a hole there. I'm not bothering with that one because you can see the tab's already broken off. So I'm only going to replace one side. It should do fine. We're going to put it in using the 8mm hex screw. It may be different on yours. And I probably have to lift that up, put something under it to hold it upright. When we tighten these screws, we're going to leave them a little loose for expansion and contraction. Alright. So first we're going to shim this up. Get that line lined up. And thread the screw in. Try to resist wanting to use an electric drill to thread these, because you can cross thread that cast iron really easy and crack it. And then your 2-hour project becomes a 50-hour project, taking apart your whole stove and re-cementing it. Alright, now I'm going to take a driver, screw it into place, and then back it off about a half a turn. Alright, all this plate's doing is buying life for your stove so that you don't have the coals directly on the cast iron on the outside shell. Alright, we're going to... Okay, so now we're going to put this plate, the back plate, back in. It's got slots in it on both sides. That's for your coal chute, which I'm sure you're not burning coal in this stove. This stove was never very good with coal. There's 2 hanging eyes. They're going to use the Phillips bolts on mine. They may be different on yours. And the biggest thing is we're going to slide the bottom of this plate down into a slot that's behind the floor plate that we put in a little while ago. All right, this only goes through the side door. Remember, your side door may be opposite this. Okay. Right in the back here, you can see that slot that this thing is going to go in. So I'm going to tuck it into the slot first and then swing it up to hit the 2 fastening holes. Into the slot, tilt it up into place. This one's a little easier to thread because once you slid it behind the slot, that plate wants to stay up. This back plate also holds up the side plate, which is why I'm not worried when I only put that 1 fastener back, because it's not going to come off even after a winter of firing. It gets held on by the back plate. Okay, so now I've got the 2 Phillips screws in and started by hand. I'm going to use a screwdriver and do the same thing. We're going to drive the screw in all the way, and then we'll back it off about a full turn, just so that things stay loose enough that you don't end up stressing and cracking the cast iron, because that's the whole reason we're trying to avoid that. Get some life out of the stove. It's only 30 years young, for God's sake. We could get another 30 years out of it. We take care of it. All right, that one's in pretty good. I'm going to do the other side. Helps to have a flashlight to do this stuff, especially if you're an old guy like me, can't see very well. That flashlight saves a lot of headache, as long as you don't lose it in all your tools. All right. And when you're done, back that screw off. About 1 full turn. There's plenty of threads in the back of the mounting hole. And that's it. Check to make sure before you pack everything up that your shakers work. And they do. And then button things back up in here. We do most of our feeding from the side. We rarely feed from the front. And you're good to go. Even if you season your new parts in your oven first, it's best to burn a couple of small fires and go let them light, let them burn, let them go all the way out, and then wait a while, let the stove cool, then do another small fire. You do a couple of those and it's going to help the stove expand and contract a few times and get all the parts settled in. If you try to do it all at once, you might end up cracking something. Again, you don't want to have to do that if you don't have to. Alright, thanks very much for watching, and I hope we can post another one for you that'll help out.